When we reached the woods, we started hearing strange noises around the time of sunset. Nick played the noises off as some sort of animal call, a coyote to be more specific. But Russell wasn't so sure, nor was I, not after seeing how troubled Yuri looked when he returned to the camp. The noise didn't sound so much like a howl or a roar exactly. I don't really know how to explain the sound really. It sounded abnormal, almost what you would think of as prehistoric. We made our camp close to a slope that was good for skiing. Donald proposed that we put on our skis and try it out. Before the sky went completely dark, we all agreed to give the slope a go. I was very excited to ski. I felt a large urge to take my mind off of things, and skiing sounded just like the thing for me. When we all had our gear on, we all stood beside each other at the top of the descent before sliding down. It wasn't all a clear path. There were some clusters of trees here and there, but it wasn't anything we couldn't maneuver past. Alex lagged behind and never really caught up to us before we rode our skis down the slope and the sun's brightness was dimming, and we wanted to ski before the daylight gave out, so we started out without Alex. When he returned to the camp, it was dark out, and Alex was nowhere to be found.
Where's Alex? Did anyone see him come down the slope after us?
We all shook our heads in disagreement. I walked over to Alex's tent. "Alex, are you in there?" I asked. I opened the tent, and the back side of it was completely torn apart. I turned on my flashlight and shined it on the snow behind the tent. There were small portions of snow stained by blood near the torn opening. Donald came behind me and saw for himself what I had.
"Russell, come over here."
Russell joined Donald and I and investigated the scene. Russell was just as shocked as Donald and myself.
"What do you think could have done this? A bear, maybe?"
There aren't any bears on this side of the mountain, or at least there shouldn't be. There's not enough game in the area to sustain a reasonable diet for a bear.
Do you have any idea what kind of animal could claw through a tent like this?
In this area of the mountain, I wouldn't have the slightest suggestion.
Russell said, shaking his head.
Whatever it was, it must have been heavy and large to make marks such as those.
This didn't feel right to me. First, Yuri flaked out of the trip. Now Alex goes missing with his tent nearly torn to pieces and bloodstains in the snow. "We should follow the trail," I said.
"What?"
Donald blurted. "If Alex survived the attack, he's obviously wounded, possibly very badly, and may need our help," I said.
"And if he's not, he's in the belly of whatever did this. The beast has had its main course, and I don't plan on being its dessert."
"We can't just leave him."
"Him? We can't leave him. That's assuming he is still alive."
"Well, what if whatever this thing was that attacked Alex comes back and takes another one of us?"
I'll go with you, Alina.
Russell interrupted.
"Russell!"
If you're going to do this, I want to have you doing it without a means of protection.
"Thank you, Russell." Russell grabbed his rifle and loaded it before we began to follow the trail of blood. The trail led us uphill, and shortly after we started our venture, it began to snow. Blistering cold winds picked up. We followed the trail to this central encirclement of trees. A large burrow rested across from us, which looked as though it may have been dug out all along with a messy mass of blood drenching the snow.
What do we do now?
Russell whispered. "We go in," I said. I marched towards the burrow, but Russell rushed after me and pulled back on my arm.
Alina, wait. We don't know what's in there, and I think both of us can agree that it's no damn giant mole rat. Not to mention, based on the scenery, we can assume that Alex has become the literal definition of pulled pork.
I was about to say something snappy back to Russell, but my words were caught when we heard a deep, echoing exhale of breath coming from the burrow. Russell and I slowly looked at the dark, gory hole in the ground to find a pair of glowing green eyes staring at us. Russell let go of my arm and aimed his gun at whatever was in the burrow.
All right, Alina. I don't know about you, but I think I'm satisfied with finding out with what got Alex. I'm not entirely intrigued to stick around for it to decide on what to make of us.
"The feeling is mutual," I said.
Don't be nervous, because it's not. So all we're gonna do here is just back up slowly, take your time, and stay quiet.
I took 1, 2, 3 steps back, placing my feet into the snow as softly as I could. But on the 4th step, I snapped a stick and the predator was startled. It roared and its eyes moved closer. It slowly revealed its gray, wrinkled snout. Its teeth and gums were bare, its breath fogged in the air. Its nostrils twitched as it sniffed. Russell fired his rifle and the animal screeched as it retreated back to its hole. Russell quickly turned toward me and grabbed my arm, shouting,
Go! Run, run, run!
We ran swiftly back down the way we came. What was that? I asked.
I don't know. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. Doesn't matter, just run. Keep up with...
There was a loud roar, much like the ones we had heard earlier that day. Loud thuds and sounds of heavy trees following echoed behind us.
Shit! It's knocking down trees!
I spotted a hollow close by on the left side of the hill. There, follow me, I said. We sprinted over to the hollow and slid under it. Lay on your side and tug your back into the interior of the hollow, I said. Russell did as I instructed. The thuds became deeper. The shrieks became louder, and one massive tree sounded as if it had been knocked down on its side, tipping from the roots. For one of the rarest instances in my life, I was actually frightened, but I gathered my courage and I stayed calm. My breath did not quiver, my eyes did not tear, and my body did not tremble. A loud, quaking thud of the predator landing right above us sent a shock through the ground. Its arms landed right in front of us. They were covered in thick white wool. It had 2 large human-like hands with sharp nails. I couldn't see its head. We were right behind its chest. All it had to do was look down and behind itself, and we wouldn't have a chance. The creature sniffed heavily and stomped its hands into the snow. Russell and I desperately hugged our backs to the interior of the hollow, trying to stay as far back as we could from this beast. The beast roared its terrible roar. I shut my eyelids tightly, and Russell covered his ears. The monster leaped off into the snow and moved quickly, on 2 legs it sounded like, through the deep layers of snow.
It's headed back into the west, where we came from.
We need to get back to the others.